Good morning, Kahal Kadosh. Good morning, Kahal Kadosh. It's good to be back today, Monday, 11 o'clock class, the 27th day of Tevet, the 11th day of January. Today's class graciously sponsored by Mr. Elias Saal and family, Le'ilui Nishmat, his beloved father, Moshe ben Amchie, alav shalom, Yiratzon, that through the words of Torah, the neshama of Moshe ben Amchie will have an aliyah in Gan Eden. Amen. Today's class, we begin chapter number 4 of Pirke Abot. The Mishnah begins, Ben Zoma Omer, Ezeu Hacham. Ben Zoma says, who is the wise man? Halomed Mikol Adam, who learns from every person. Shene Emar, as the Pasuk writes, Mikol Melamedai Iskalti, from all the teachers I grew wise. Ezehu Gibor, who is a strong person? Hakobesh et Isro, who subdues his personal inclination. Shene'emar, as the Pasuk writes, Tov erech apayim migibor, it is better a person that is slow to anger than a strong person. Umoshel berucho miloked eir, and one who controls his passions, his desires, better than a conqueror of a city. Ezehu ashir, who is a rich person, hasameyach bechelko, the one that is happy with his lot. Shene'emar, yegia kapecha ki tochel. The pasuk from Tehillim, chapter 128. The labor of your hands you eat. Ashrecha betoblach, you're praiseworthy and is well with you. Ashrecha ba'olam hazeh, praiseworthy in this world, betoblach, and well for you, le'olam haba, in the world to come. Ezehu mechubad, who is honored, hamechabed et haberiot, who honors other people. Shene'emar, ki mechabeda yachabed, from Shmuel 1 chapter 3, who those who honor me, I shall honor, ubozai yekalu, and those who scorn me shall be degraded. I did the Mishnah in one shot, and now we're going to start dissecting the Mishnah of today. The Mishnah of today spoke about wisdom, strength, wealth, and honor. This is the title of today's class. Wisdom, strength, wealth, and honor. Let's the Mishnah do the talking. So the Mishnah says, Ezeu Hacham, who is the one, Ben Zoma, just to give an introduction, was a great Talmid Hacham, one of the students of the famous Yeshiva of Yavne, and he remained always a Torah student. He was able to decipher messages of the Pesukim, to activate it in the halachic ruling from the Mishnah and the Talmud. Regretfully, he did not live a very long life, but he was definitely a great Hacham, to the level that Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah praised him, as the Mishnah writes, in the name of Rabbi Elazar ben Azariah, Ache de Rasha ben Zoma, which is the author of today's Mishnah. So our Mishnah tells us that there are 4 concepts in life which are good. To be wise, to be strong, to be wealthy, and to be respectful. All that is beautiful. But let's see how does that applies to our daily life. So the Mishnah says, Ezu Hacham, halomed mikol adam. A person, Rashi says, that a person that is not embarrassed in learning from others, and those others could be younger than the person themselves. We see this in the rabbinate, we see this in the medical field, in a good sign of humility. But the Mishnah is telling us also that we need to be careful. Don't judge people to say he's younger, therefore he knows less. Or if he's younger, how can I go to him to ask him a question? Actually, is the opposite. And because this person has a certain level of humility, so then the person has the chance to be able to learn from anyone. And from here we learn, says the Pirush on the Mishnah, that a certain level of Yirat Shamayim it's required. Shene'emar, as the Pasuk writes from David HaMelech, Mikol melamdai hiskalti, from all my teachers I grew wise. And it says, Afilu mina ketanim mimeni, even those, excuse me, that were younger than me, Velo haiti hoshesh lichbodi, and I was not worried about my honor. Meaning to say, how come David HaMelech it's learning from someone that is not a king or somebody that is younger than him, etc. But David HaMelech says, I have something to learn from that person, doesn't matter the age. And the Pasuk says, Ki edotecha sihali, all my intentions were Leshem Shamayim. So very beautiful to explain this Mishnah. Second part of the Mishnah writes, Ezehu Gibor. Now we're talking about a strong person. And the Mishnah says, the strength of the person is determined of a person that is able to conquer the Yetzer Hara. And unfortunately, we all struggle with the Yetzer Hara. The Yetzer Hara is always around, the Yetzer Hara is always available. But when a person is confronted with a situation of adversity or a challenge, and the person says, you know what, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to exercise self-control, or self-control, that's the proper way. And it says, she'eno nichna leta'avato, that a person doesn't bend because of the desires activated by the Yetzer Hara. And that's what the Pasuk says. The other concept, sholet berucho. What's the meaning of sholet berucho? Sholet berucho means that a person has a self-control on the reaction. Literally, in what case? So here is referring to the concept of anger. A person can get angry, but a person says, you know what? I'm going to count to 10, I'm going to count to 20, and I'm going to just calm myself down, and then the person avoids anger, which brings side effects, and especially mahloket, etc. Umotov, and that's what Shlomo HaMelech says, it is better a person that controls their anger than someone that conquers the city. In what sense? Because conquering a city, what do you need? You need strength. That's what you need. To conquer a city, you need physical strength. Good weapons, good soldiers, etc. But in this case, so all that is external. Weapons and people and soldiers is external. But internally, when the argument is about to explode or the situation is about to develop, and the person says, you know what? Calm down. And the person really comes down, that is also a great merit for the person. Ezehu Ashir. Now, there's a very famous Mishnah. Who is the person that truly should be praised for their wealth? Interesting enough, the Mishnah says, Hasameach bechelko, is happy with his share. What does this mean? Peshat means that a person is happy with whatever blessing God gave the person and doesn't worry whatever he does not or she does not have. Unfortunately, many times people look at others and they worry about what others have without valuing and being happy for the blessing that they have. Shene Emar, Yegia kapecha ki tochel. It says, the toil of your hands you shall eat. What does it mean? Sure, there are many ways that people can become wealthy. Many of them are kosher ways, but regretfully, many of the ways that people get wealthy is not through the kosher way. And that can be driven in part to do something inappropriate or not kosher or illegal because of the desperation of the person for money. Ashrecha betov lach. Fortunate are you and is great for you. Ashrecha ba'olam hazeh. Fortunate is for you because once the person is happy with what they have, they don't need people's help. They don't have debts. They don't owe money to the bank. They don't owe money to the credit card. They don't owe money to hardly anybody. Why? They live within their means. They are happy and they manage themselves in a budgetary manner. But a person that is always looking and I need, so to speak, always more, and that sometimes doesn't always work out. Well, I need to have that suit, I need to have that glass, I need to have that watch, I need to have that vehicle. Fine. We're not saying that a person should not have nice things, but if a person doesn't have the means and the person puts themselves in trouble financially, then you're going to need of people to bring you out of the debt. Betovlach ba'olam haba, and it's also a benefit after life. Now you may ask, what benefit is there after life? The fact that I was happy with whatever I have in life. Short answer, you will be happy that you did not have to resort to commit crimes, to steal or to rob from people in order to satiate your desire for financial, for money, etc. And we heard, unfortunately, many times that people play shticks, people play games, and not understanding that besides the inappropriateness of that action, there is also Torah prohibition of stealing, of robbing, of hurting other people. So when the person pays the price, and that's why the Mishnah brought here Olam hazeh and Olam haba. Ezehu mechubad. Who is honored? So we discuss wisdom, strength, and wealth. So it says, how does a person gets people's honors? And the Mishnah is not telling us here, run after honor. But if you want to understand why sometimes people honor and sometimes people don't honor, המכבד את הבריות, a person that honors others automatically honors themselves, because the person will reciprocate and people see how friendly you are in a good way, how attentive you are, and how thankful you are and how grateful you are, and that all is part of kavod to others. And this refers to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and to the person. Now, with that being said, today this is the only Mishnah that we're going to be learning, but we are going to learn now, Be'ezat Hashem, the beautiful Pirushim of the Me'am Lo'ez in this particular Mishnah, which is short, but I believe fully loaded of beautiful messages in all areas of life. Okay, so the Me'am Lo'ez brings a very interesting concept. Be'achokma me'ayin timaseh. Wisdom will be found out of nothingness. Some may be familiar with this verse. This is the verse that we say whenever we make ashkava for great hachamim, which is customary in the Sephardic synagogues, obviously, especially when you have yortzites, like we did the other day, Hacham Atlub Abadi, and the week before, Hacham Yaakov Kassin, and Hanukkah, Hacham Shaul Kassin, alayhi shalom, all the great rabbis, how does their hashkava begins? והחוכמה מאין תימסה. Here explains the Me'am Lo'ez, אין החוכמה מתקיימת, wisdom cannot remain or stay, אלא במי שמשים עצמו כעין, when the person considers themselves to be nothing. Why? כיוון שהוא רואה כל אחד גדול ממנו. If, let's say, a person believes there is nothing, so that person, all the other people that are learning and teaching Torah, in his eyes, they are something, and he's nothing. That's a sign of humility about the person. As I said to somebody the other day, the more we learn Torah, the more we realize how little do we know. So it says, once the person humbles themselves in the Torah knowledge and understanding, then the person can become a keli. Then the person can become a recipient to be able to accept the Torah. I'm going to bring something that is not happy and is not pleasant, but I have to say it today because I think it's the proper time to say it. I'm sure the Kahal Kadosh remembers the story of Rabbi Akiva. What happened with the story of Rabbi Akiva's students? The 24,000 students of Rabbi Akiva. What happened? The Gemara tells us that they perished, they died in a short period of time. And what reason the Gemara brings? Shelo nahagu kabod ze lazeh, that they did not respect each other. Now, what does it mean they did not respect each other? So it says that Rabbi Akiva took the 24,000 students, and the language of the Gemara says 12,000 zugot, yani 12,000 habrutot Rabbi Akiva made up. What did Rabbi Akiva do? He took an older student with a younger student. So what happens? The older student said to themselves, why should I waste my time with a younger student? I need to learn somebody of my caliber. The younger student will say, that old fellow doesn't know nothing. And it's true. And it is true. Today, the younger generation knows more than the older generation. But what they know, they don't know about life. Let's clarify. They know about the external world, technology, for example. A grandchild knows more than a grandparent in technology because grandparents did not grow up with technology. You understand what I'm saying? But nobody can take away the experience of the life of a parent or a grandparent compared to a child. But that's another challenge because today the teens and the young adults believe that they know it all. And doesn't mean that when we were teens and we were younger, we didn't think like that. But as the years go by, we see how powerful are the words of this particular Mishnah. Because if a person then, instead of being humble, is going to be a Baal Ga'ava, is going to be a bit arrogant or haughty, so he's never going to be able to learn. I know that rabbi is a junior rabbi. I know that rabbi doesn't know much. Oh, that rabbi always says the same. So with that kind of mindset, guess what? You're not going to learn Torah ever. And therefore it says that a Mishnah writes that you need to learn from people and from Hachamim. From people you learn also midot, how to act, how to behave yourself, how to be diligent, how to have agility, how to be humble. All the different midot which are in our life. And that's why the Mishnah says, Halomed mikol Adam. Why didn't the Mishnah says, Halomed mikol Hacham? If the Mishnah says, who is the wise man? Why didn't the Mishnah tells me, who learns from all the wise men? But the Mishnah says no, that learns from different people. What does it mean, different people? Katon begadol. You can learn from the young, you can learn from the old. You can learn from the intelligent or the simple. You can learn from a wise man or from a businessman. You can learn from an employee or you can learn from a servant. And that's why it says, Ezeu Hacham, who the person learns from each and every situation and every lesson in life. Additionally, Ezu Hacham, a person that is not happy with what they learned when they were kids, always looks for a way to grow. Mishtadel lehosif, a person who makes the effort to increase in knowledge, to increase in Torah learning, and makes the person more of a kol bo. But it says here, that part of the wisdom that a person learns, it needs to be supplemented by Irat Shamayim. Irat Shamayim, literally, I don't want to say the fear of God, but I think the proper word will be the awe of God. Literally, that a person feels Hashem's presence, and that brings to the person a certain level of understanding and developing the relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now, a question that the Me'am Lo'ais writes, and it says, is there a need for the person to become a Hacham? In other words, is the person born a Hacham or no? So it says no. Mishelon Ladiot Hacham. Not necessarily that a person needs to be born as a genius. Person can be born as a natural child, normal, day to day. But you want to increase your wisdom, the doors are open. The famous Gemara that says, Habale itaher mesayein lo. A person that wants to get closer to Kadosh Baruch Hu, Shamayim gives the person the opportunity. Also the Gemara writes, Baderech she'adam rotze lalechet molichin oto. In the pathway that a person wants to go, Shamayim will guide the person to go in that direction. And that, with that being said, we understand the concept of Ezehu Gibor. It's a very short one in this one. Ezehu Gibor Hakobesh et Itzro. Who is the strong one, the one that is able to be in control. In control, for example, in the moment of anger, the moment of reacting, and similar matters. Because that's truly where the person needs to exercise self-control. Like many of us put self-control when it comes to eating, for example. And we said, okay, this is it, no more, Hajj, enough, I had it, beautiful. Same thing happens when it comes to the reactions of the person, etc. And an additional concept, it says here, concerning the, skip the page, sorry. It says the wealthy man that is happy with whatever he is given, and we know the famous pirush that says that ashir, wealthy, is actually a person that the body functions. The ayn, the eyes, shinayim, the teeth, yadayim, the hands, raglayim, the feet. So if you take the first letter of these four body parts in Hebrew, gives you the word ashir. Yani you are able to see, you are able to talk and eat, you are able to move your hands, you are able to walk. Consider yourself a wealthy person. And here he brings a very interesting concept. I think there was a misprint. Let me just flip the pages. I see this back and forth. The Hidar Kadosh writes, and it says, wow, it's a very heavy statement. Wow. The Hidar says that a person that complains about their being financially, and we're not saying that there are no sometimes reason why a person should complain, but we already know that complaining is not a good idea. But it says a person that complains when he has no really reason to complain. שולט על נכסיו עד מלאך אחד, הנקרא רעה חולה. The Hidah says that there is a heavenly creation created on the complaint, and it's called Ra'a, means bad, Hola, a bad sickness, Has v'shalom. And it says why? Because a person who acts in this way probably neglects his spiritual life. That could be not praying, or not praying with the minyan, or not learning the minimum amount that a person should, at least an hour a day. But in the opposite way, as the Masechet Derech Eretz writes in the concept of kavod, im hafez ata leidabek be'ahavat haberiyot, if you want to develop the next character trait, which is respecting people, hevenose benoten betomatam, literally means worry about people. In what sense worry? I'm not telling you to go and to see everything how everybody's doing, but when you see them, interact with the person in a good way. How are you? How is your family? I hope everything is fine. Show some time of genuine concern. An additional concept of the Yetzer Hara, it says here that every person has different types of Yetzer Hara. For some people could be anger. For some people could be laziness. For some people could be deceitfulness. And therefore it says whatever the person knows a certain area in life that requires extra attention, invest in that particular case. It says, concludes the Me'am Lo'ez, and it says something very beautiful. And it says, we discuss the different midot brought down by Ben Zoma. But in order for that and those midot and good things should be activated on the person, there is a minimum requirement of chokhmah, of wisdom, to understand that life could be better if we are willing to make it better, which is a very powerful statement. But that he brings a second statement, the concept of Irat Shamayim. Irat Shamayim in this case means that a person is honest with themselves, in the sense of, you know what, I think that I need to be more humble, I need to have more self-control, I need to have different patterns of respecting people, not looking down to people. Has v'shalom, there are people who don't say hello. And according to what we are learning in the Mishnah now, doesn't seem to be the proper way, because if the Mishnah says, HaMechabed et haberiyot, if you want to be respected by people, you need to respect people. It's like marriage. What is marriage? The Mishnah says, E'aseh lo ezer kenegdo. E'aseh lo, I will make you ezer, help, kenegdo. Kenegdo has two meanings. One is against you or in front of you. Now, what's the idea of in front of you? So I heard once in a wedding that the husband, the eyes of the husband, can see to the front, can see to the right, and can see to the left. But the husband cannot see backwards. Who sees backwards? The wife. That when the wife stands in front of the husband, E'ezeh lo ezer kenegdo. Kenegdo means in front of him. So the husband protects the wife by looking past the wife, and the wife protects the husband from behind by looking past the husband. That is a beautiful pirush that is beautiful for marriage. But in marriage proper, now we talk. So if there is kavod, if there is respect and honor between husband and wife, so Shalom Bayit most likely will flourish in that home. Same thing with people. If a person has a bit of derech eretz, a person is a bit polite and salutes and says hello and Shabbat Shalom and have a good day, etc., what do you think you're going to get back? you're going to get reciprocity. That's what Shlomo HaMelech says. Kamayim hapanim el hapanim ken lev ha'adam el ha'adam. When you reflect your face in the water, what happens? The water reflects back whatever face reaction you will have. You're smiling, you are laughing, you are serious, you're quiet, you open your eyes, you close your eyes. Whatever you do is going to have a mirror image. This is not only limited to the water, but this is inclusive to the home, and this is inclusive, obviously, to friends, families, etc. So, Yeh Ratzon that the words of today's Mishnah serves as a source of inspiration for all of us, elevating the neshama of Moshe Saal ben Amchie, graciously sponsored by his son Elias Saal and family. Have a great day, everybody. Shavua Tov Mevorach. Be'ezat Hashem, we'll resume the recording tomorrow, 9:15 in English via itorah.com, and being Tuesday, 10:30 in Spanish, Be'ezat Hashem, as we do every week as well. Shavua Tov Mevorach to everybody. Have a great day.